Coming up on this episode of Falmouth in Focus, we visit the Barnstable County Fair and take a look at how it all started. We find out the details surrounding the 25th Woods Hole Film Festival. We get a look inside the Japanese Kanreki exhibit at Highfield Hall, and we attend the West Falmouth Library groundbreaking. All this and much more on this edition of Falmouth in Focus.
Hello and thank you for watching Falmouth in Focus, FCTV's current affairs program. I'm Liz Lerner, the Membership and Outreach Coordinator for FCTV. We start this episode with a reminder that the Bring Your Own Bag bylaw goes into effect in town on Saturday, August 6th. What that means is that single-use plastic bags less than 2.5 mils in thickness and with integral handles will not be allowed to be distributed or sold at any establishment within the town. Paper bags may continue to be distributed and utilized, and customers are encouraged to bring their own reusable shopping bags when patronizing stores in town. The town of Falmouth had its own response to the recent national shootings. On Thursday, July 14th, a silent vigil organized by Falmouth No Place for Hate was held on the town green to express solidarity with the victims of deadly violence in St. Paul, Baton Rouge, and Dallas, Texas.
So this really started as a conversation that I had with Chief Dunn, as well as members of No Place for Hate, thinking of ways that we could bring the community together after the events of last week, both the shooting in Dallas and then the shootings in Baton Rouge, as well as in St. Paul. And so, we thought what would be appropriate at this time would really just be a coming together of the community. There are obviously, a lot of emotions, and it's really a complex issue, but we wanted to show that we're a community first, and that we support our men and women in the Falmouth Police Department, and that they support taking a look at these tough issues, which Chief Dunn has said many times. It's part of really having an ongoing dialogue and connecting as individuals. And so everyone was really on board to put something together, and we thought what would be best is just really a moment of reflection and silence in solidarity and unity as a community.
I had gotten a phone call and was told that this was going to happen, and asked if the police department wanted to participate in it. Absolutely, we do. We are part of the community, and we participate in all community events. And it was just nice for everybody to be here tonight, just for that moment of silence, for everyone who has lost lives in the past week or month or past year, in reality. What happened in Dallas was tragic. What's happened across the country is tragic. But the only way to solve it is to work together as a community. And the Falmouth community does do that.
Well, I think over the past few weeks and months, we've had a number of different events as we've dealt with violence in our world, in our country. And trying to make sense of it, trying to work through it. We've done that with groups gathering and hearing speeches, and tonight we gathered around the, power of silence. And I think that silence can be a very effective way to really process our emotions and really connect with how we're feeling.
And to be, fair, the emotions are very raw. And this is something that touches people, both sides of it, or all sides of it, I should say, because I don't think it's one side versus the other. It's really complex, and it touches everybody. I'm the mother of 2 children of color. This touches me very deeply. I also have law enforcement individuals in my family, so it touches me for that reason. So I think that we knew it would be very charged. People bring a lot of really emotion to this event. And so it was enough to just stand together and be together and to hold that space with each other. And there will be time later for the conversations, the tough conversations that we know we're going to have as a community. But tonight was just to really be together and, for people to feel that not the isolation that can sometimes happen after these events.
Well, I think it's important that we come together. There's so much division, there's a lot of pain, and I think as a community just coming together and standing in peace with one another, when we begin with peace in our small community, that peace can be a larger reality for the world.
Thank you to FCTV's Alan Russell for bringing us that piece. In addition to the Silent Vigil, local citizens came together at a Thank You Falmouth Police event at the Gus Canty Community Center. FCTV intern Alexandra Corey brings us this footage.
The Falmouth Police Department received an invitation to attend here tonight, and it was going to be a thank you for all that the police department does for all the men and women. So we graciously accepted it to be here, to be part of the community.
The reason I got involved in this event is there's a lot of unrest across the country, and police officers are getting a bad rap, in my opinion. And then the following weekend, the Cape Cod Times put out an article, an editorial that was very defamatory towards police. And it's an editorial, it's freedom of speech, but I think our police officers deserve better than that. And I wanted to show them that the town will come out to support them. And I wanted the kids in town to write thank you notes and thank you cards, and it's been a great event so far. I work off Cape in Rainham, and some of my police officer friends have told me that, a simple thank you from a child means everything, because as adults we have to teach our children young that, respecting the police is the right thing to do. And if you teach them young, they will respect police as they grow older. Callan, what do you say when you see a police officer?
Thank you.
Thank you, and that's very important. And the other day I saw an officer downtown. Callan said thank you, and he got very excited about that. It's the little things, I think.
I've been a police officer for 38 years here in Falmouth, so I've really gotten to know a lot of people in the community. And I've said before publicly, and I'll say it again on camera, this is a great community that does come together and are willing to help each other, and that's what's awesome.
The cards that were created that day were sent as a group to local police. The West Falmouth Library recently celebrated a groundbreaking at its site on 28A. FCTV staff attended the event to find out what's being added to this historic section of town.
The reason we chose today was that July 15th, 120 years ago, was the dedication of the community building of West Falmouth Library, which is right over my shoulder, I think. So 120 years later, we are now breaking ground for a new little addition to the library, so much needed renovations. The addition includes an elevator, handicap bathrooms, and much needed space. We are putting in a new children's area, larger children's area, because those are important programs to us. And the community room, which is 120 years old, needs some work. Well, we're not there yet. We're getting there, and it still will take some work to get there. The construction starts actually in August, and that's very exciting.
You can watch the ceremony and speeches from the event in their entirety. Keep an eye on FCTV's program schedule at fctv.org to find out when it'll be playing next. It's time now for Three Things from Town Hall, FCTV's condensed version of the takeaways from recent municipal meetings. Selections are chosen based on community impact.
After having an executive session regarding the litigation strategy for the wind turbine hearings, the board announced their plan for future cases.
The board made an executive session and had a discussion about our next action that we're going to take. And I'd like to announce that the board has authorized the town manager, the town council, and the town's insurer to participate in a mediation with all parties to pending wind turbine litigation for the purpose of resolving all outstanding suits and claims.
The selectmen also weighed in on their plan to consider purchasing the Coonamessett Inn for the future home of the senior center.
The owner of the Coonamessett Inn, Mr. Zammer, approached Mr. Suso about 5 or 6 weeks ago to let him know that he was planning on selling the piece of property and wanted to find out if the town had any interest in purchasing the property for use as the senior center. At that point, I asked Ms. Moran, Ms. Bishop, Mr. Vieira, Mr. Suso, the town planner, to take a walkthrough to see if it had any possibility of being a reasonable idea. They came back and we were able to, in executive session, say that we thought that it had some merit. The plan, as has been discussed, would involve keeping the historic building and investigating what other things could be done with the property.
The town manager will begin open negotiations towards the purchase of the property, and the town will look at the feasibility of the property. The police chief gave his quarterly report, which highlighted many of the events of the summer, as well as some of the achievements the department has made combating the opiate crisis.
The police department has served it's called a Section 35. That's where a family member can go to court when an individual needs to be committed to a drug rehab or a hospital. Family members are instructed or can go to court and explain to the judge that this person can't take care of themselves. And the police department has served 41 Section 35s. We've continued the home visits with Sergeant Seminole and counselors from Gosnold. We've done 41 home visits since April. 8 people have accepted treatment. The other piece that we're working on is the mental health issue, which has also risen over the years. For instance, last year, 2015, we had 143 calls for service to deal with mental health. So far, from April 20th to July 24th, we've had 47 calls for service to deal with mental health, a total so far of 96 calls for service. Mark Abbott from the Falmouth Human Services and Officer Tyler Nabon have done 26 home visits. And this has to do with multiple calls. This is calls that we've had multiple calls to several homes, and they've gone to assist those individuals to get them some services that they need.
To see the meetings in their entirety, check out FCTV's website and click on the Government Channel 15 link at fctv.org. Let's now take a look at our calendar segment, a brief look at some upcoming local events in the coming weeks. Highfield Hall will hold its annual Bluegrass on the Lawn event on Sunday, August 7th from 3 to 7 p.m. at their location on Highfield Drive. The headline band, Chasing Blue, is from Berklee College of Music. Visitors are asked to bring blankets and picnics to this family-friendly event. The Falmouth Walk will take place on August 20th at 10 a.m. at Town Hall Square. The walk is 3.2 miles long. Immediately following the walk is a picnic and raffle auction at St. Barnabas Church grounds. Staffed entirely by volunteers, all profits from the event are donated to various local Falmouth charities. The famous New Balance Falmouth Road Race will be held on August 21st at 9 a.m. this year. The 7-mile-long course begins in Woods Hole and ends in Falmouth Heights. Registration is closed, but there are a variety of events surrounding race day. More information can be found on the road race site, falmouthroadrace.com. Keep an eye on our channel and website as FCTV will be covering the event from start to finish. Also regarding FCTV, our Mazer Gallery has new artists this month, Art Across the Ages, artwork by Evelyn and Lauren Lynch, a grandmother and granddaughter pair. Their work, diverse paintings with many themes, will be on display at our location at 310A Dillingham Ave through August 25th. We're going to take a quick break to learn about an adoptable cat from People for Cats, but when we return, we'll visit the Barnstable County Fair, learn more about this year's Woods Hole Film Festival, and take a look at an international exhibit at Highfield Hall. Stay with us.
Prince is a handsome white with black domestic short hair male. This 3-year-old is a real sweetheart who loves people and attention. He has a bright white fur coat accented by black spots and a cute black smudge on his nose. Prince is outgoing and very affectionate. He was surrendered when his owner had to move to a location where she could not take him. This sweetheart is now looking for a forever home and promises to be a loving companion kitty. Why not come into the shelter to meet this striking gentleman? For more information, visit peopleforcats.org.
Welcome back. The 2016 Barnstable County Fair has already come and gone, but FCTV's Alan Russell was sure to document some of the highlights.
Hi, we're here at the Barnstable County Fair, here for all the fun, the rides, the games, and of course, the agricultural stuff. This is the agricultural fair, that's where it got its start. and now you can see all these other new exhibits becoming a part of it. So let's go take a look and see what's around. So I'm here with Emily and Zip, and you want to tell us what you are preparing for right now?
Yeah, so we have our 4-H club here, and so one of the things that we learn about is all about horses. So we're actually going to go out and start riding and just kind of give a demo, and then after I ride him, some of the younger girls are going to go out and they're just going to show off their moves and show off how our horses and let people visit their horses and just kind of see what we're all about at our farm and stuff.
How long have you been riding here?
I've actually been riding for 4.5 years, almost 5. But when I was younger, I did ride a little bit off and on, and then I took a long break, and now I started riding up again.
And you do all of this with the local 4-H here, right?
Yeah, I do. I do local 4-H, and I also am on a show circuit, but I'm very involved in my farm, and so this is just one of the small things that we do here.
It really sounds like a fun time,
Yeah.
and we wish you and Zip the best of luck out there.
Thank you.
So I'm here with Foster in the poultry barn, and we're going to talk chickens. So can you tell me, who do you have here with you?
I have one of our chickens who we actually hatched with one of our silky chickens, and we got him, hatched him last year, and he came this year. He is a Old English.
Oh, he's absolutely beautiful. The coloring, I mean, he's so soft. We have the chicks right behind us, and you want to talk about how those came in?
The chicks actually came through the mail. They were stuck in the mail for a little bit, but thankfully they all made it. And they're a day old when they shipped them, so they're probably like 4 days old, 2 days old. And they are just so young that being handled so much, it kind of wears them out. But that's why we have so many so everyone can hold one.
And they're absolutely adorable. They seem to be the biggest attraction here.
Yes, everyone likes to come in every year and hold one and take pictures with them. And at the end of the fair, you can actually come by and start your own little group by buying some chickens.
I noticed there are a ton of all sorts of different adult chickens here.
So they're all different breeds and hens and all different kinds from all different people, all different breeders who have brought their chickens to show. And there's a judge who comes in and judges them. We have 158 birds right now, and that's one of the bigger groups we've had in a lot of years. And we get up early in the morning and we change their cages, give them new shavings, feed them, water them, and every day.
That's amazing. It seems like a lot of hard work. So which chicken would you say is your favorite?
I'd say the chicks are my favorite. Yeah. Or there's some cool chickens over there in the corner that have a nice little tuft around them. They're all different kinds. They're very cool to look at.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching Falmouth in Focus. This is Alan Russell signing off.
Thanks, Alan, for that piece. The 25th Annual Woods Hole Film Festival is underway. FCTV spoke with the festival's director to find out what's in store for this remarkable year.
My name is Judy Laster. I'm the founder and director of the Woods Hole Film Festival, which will be 25 years old this year. It's changed a lot over the years. We started out as a one-day, one-hour event and gradually grew into an 8-day event. over a period of years. But the thing that's changed the most, I think, is the reach of the film festival, both by attracting filmmakers here from around the world and also giving an opportunity for people to see work that they wouldn't get a chance to see otherwise. The festival is comprised of 8 days of film screenings. We screen over 130 independent films submitted to us from around the world. In addition to the film screenings, we have workshops, master classes, special events, a lot of fun parties with great music, and an opportunity for everybody to get involved. There's a great Kids Day, family film screening as well. So we have, as I mentioned, over 130 films from around the world. Of those 130 films, we have about 40 feature films, about half documentary features, half narrative features, and the rest are short films. So a short film meaning anything from 40 minutes and under. There's an opportunity for people to see lots of different things, but of the local films, I would say on the feature documentary front, there's one from Martha's Vineyard called One Big Home, about a filmmaker's effort to deal with the huge houses that were being built over there and what's happening on a finite landmass. There's a great film called Ribbons, a short film shot in Provincetown about a kid who grows up during the AIDS epidemic. There is a film by a Woods Hole filmmaker who's been in the festival before, Elise Hugas and Danielle Cujanu. They've done a half-an-hour documentary called Sustaining Sea Scallops, which really looks at what's happening with the scallop fishery in this area. And that will be shown with a companion film that was done by a Nantucket filmmaker, John Stanton, called The Last Sea Scallop. And then there's another film in that program called Shellfish Shorts about Wellfleet and what's happening down there, called Safe Harbor. So we really do try and provide space for local filmmakers to have their work seen. You know, we feel like at 25, we've created our space here. We are part of the fabric of the community, and we're really going to do a lot more expanding year-round. So we have year-round film series that we do in conjunction with Falmouth Academy. And then we also just worked with the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution to put brand new digital cinema projection equipment in Redfield Auditorium. So we're going to be doing a lot more screenings here year-round and probably expand into doing a number of different mini-fests throughout the year.
The festival ends on Saturday, August 6th. Thank you to FCTV's Michael Sperling for bringing us that piece. Kanreki is an exhibit that recently went on display at Highfield Hall. We spoke to Annie Dean, Director of Programs and Exhibitions, about its significance.
I'm Annie Dean, Director of Programs and Exhibitions here at Highfield Hall, and I am so pleased to introduce you all to Kanreki, a 60-year journey. This exhibition, which actually begins right out here on the grounds of Highfield Hall, is a print show that's been going on for 60 years in Japan. It's traveled here to the United States for the first time in 10 years. The show only leaves Tokyo every 10 years, and 10 years ago it was at the Library of Congress, and 20 years ago it was at the British Museum. And now we are so honored to be offering up to our community this beautiful exhibition. So the College Women's Association of Japan has been creating this show for 60 years. And they started as a fundraiser. It started as a fundraiser after World War II and to support women, Japanese women, traveling to the United States to be educated. It was created by alumni from Mount Holyoke College, and here it has been 60 years that they have been raising money for not only scholarships, but also for other relief projects, particularly a relief project they started for the people of Fukushima after the disaster there. We have over 220 works on display here at Highfield, which is a huge number for us. On average at a show, maybe we would have maximum 90 artworks, so it was quite a challenge to hang all these artworks and make the show approachable and not overwhelming for our visitors. The artwork came to us in one giant crate from Japan, and they all came flat. None of them were matted and none of them were framed. And so we started in January accessioning in the work and then getting it to the framer, then bringing it to get measured, and then bringing it back for safe storage, and then taking it back to actually get matted and framed. So it's been a 4-month process for us. Along with information about the College Women's Association of Japan, we also wanted to offer an opportunity for our visitors to learn how prints are made and about the different kinds of prints. So here we are in what we're calling our education room, and you can see that we have a table here that actually has lithostones and woodblock prints and intaglio methods and screen printing methods on display and available for you to gently touch them and get an idea about how prints are different. Along with that, in the background, we have a display that's provided by the College Women's Association of Japan, and it's called Hands-on Art. And it is something that they have developed to allow visually impaired people to have an opportunity to experience art. And if you come here to Highfield, we have lots of information that explains that to you. And if you're visually impaired, you can ask for me to come down and I'll show you how it works. So we had so many beautiful artworks that came into this exhibition. I was determined to show every single one of them. So as you can see, we're using every nook and cranny here at Highfield. We've installed track lighting down some of our side hallways, which are actually fairly intimate spaces to see the artwork. The show remains on view through September 14th. However, we'll have a large number of the works here all the way through October 31st. There'll still be a lot to see.
Highfield Hall is open Mondays through Fridays, 10 to 4, Saturdays and Sundays, 10 to 2, and admission is free on Fridays from 4 to 7 p.m. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll attend an event that was held recently to help prevent drug use in kids.
FCTV is currently seeking underwriters for its live coverage of the New Balance Falmouth Road Race. There are 3 levels of sponsorship, gold, silver, and bronze, and each allow you the opportunity to be featured at the beginning and end of FCTV's coverage that will be cablecast to Falmouth's 17,000 cable-subscribing households. Additionally, the program will go online for people from all around the world to see. If your business is interested in supporting your local nonprofit community media center, please contact Membership and Outreach Coordinator Liz Lerner at 508-457-0800 or liz@fctv.org for more information, and join dozens of other local businesses that support FCTV through business underwriting.
Welcome back. On Wednesday, July 13th, the community event was held prior to that evening's Falmouth Commodores game entitled Playing Above the Influence.
Playing Above the Influence is actually a national campaign of youth awareness and those kids that choose not to be under the influence of drugs and alcohol. So to be above the influence is to signify that kids have chosen not to use drugs and alcohol. Well, I think prevention starts young, and as you can see from some of the people attending today, we ask folks to start spreading the message earlier. The earlier we intervene and educate, the less likely children are to start using drugs and alcohol, and once the cycle starts, it's difficult to break that cycle, and then we find ourselves intervening at critical levels. So we'd like to stop the abuse before it starts. Gosnold on Cape Cod, we're the New England's leading addiction treatment center. We have a detoxification unit, we have a 30-day rehabilitation unit, men and women's facilities, we have 7 outpatient centers. This event is sponsored by our prevention division that educates the community and families about alcohol and drug abuse prevention.
Thank you to FCTV intern Scott Jackson for bringing us that piece. Here at FCTV, we're always thrilled to see residents use their smartphones to record images around town, and we want your input too. Become a part of Falmouth in Focus and send us your photos and videos to liz@fctv.org or use the hashtag MyFalmouth and Falmouth in Focus to be featured on the show. Thank you to our most recent contributors. We're going to end this episode like we always do with the sights and sounds from around town. This time we'll take a look at the Falmouth Service Center's Community Garden, which recently took place in the Cape-wide Hydrangea Festival. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Falmouth in Focus. We'll see you next time.